all in the gate. They're off and running at Finger Lakes. Decent start. Then after the start, Rochelle My Bell had the check. It's World Bank who sends out for the lead. Stunning Sugar in the outside. Igniting the Flame has shifted to the outside. Is now splitting rivals. Very headstrong in rank is Igniting the Flame, but at least she's made the front end. A gap of about 6 lengths back to Maze Loved Laffy mid-flight in fourth. Then it's Equinox in fifth. Sixth place is Out of the Cloud, and a separation of 7 lengths to Rochelle My Bell, who's at the tail of the field. Igniting the Flame into the far turn has a lead by a couple lengths. Stunning Sugar trying to cut into the margin second. World Bank scrubbed a pun for more speed in third. Maze Love Laffy trying to improve on the outside in fourth. Equinox to the outside of Out of the Cloud, and many lengths back to Rochelle the Bell, who's at the back of the pack. The top 5 or 6 within 3 lengths of each other as they reach the top of the stretch. Stunning Sugar takes over. Igniting the Flame drops back. World Bank is in about the 2 path. Then it's Equinox, followed up by Maze Love Laffy in the stand side and the red blinkers. 1 furlong to go. Stunning Sugar has a lead by 4 lengths. The battle for second, Equinox, World Bank, and Maze Love Laffy. But your winner, Stunning Sugar, will win by 3. Equinox wins that fight for second. Then it's Maze Love. Trifecta, superfecta, daily double, pick 3 wagering. Post time for race 2 in about 20 minutes at 1:29 p.m. And they're off. Decent start. The Mighty Don barreling out for the front end. Ranger Blue forwardly placed with Grand Again outside second and third. One with Everything saves all the ground in fourth. Then it's Waffler in second last, and then about 3.5, 4 lengths to Maddie Penny, who drops back to the tail of the field as they navigate the first turn. The Mighty Don able to clear off by 2.5 lengths over Grand Again, who settles in the second spot. One with Everything the Gray in third. Then in fourth, that is Waffler, who kicks on through to the inside of Ranger Blue. And then a couple more lengths back to the trailer, that is Maddie Penny. As they race up the backstretch, it's the Mighty Don lead, swells to 5.5 lengths. Grand Again stalks in second, One with Everything up the inside in third. And then it's Waffler, who's now 3 wide in fourth, 6.5 lengths off the lead. Maddie Penny is in second last, and now Ranger Blue has been shuffled back to the tail of the field. Ranger Blue about 9.5 lengths off the lead, 3 furlongs to go. The Mighty Don has a lead. The lead's 4.5 lengths as Maddie Penny kicks on through towards the inside. Up into second is Maddie Penny. Maddie Penny making a good move on the turn. One with Everything drifts out wide in third, and then in fourth, that's Ranger Blue as they turn into the stretch. The Mighty Don, Maddie Penny now tackles on the outside, and Maddie Penny now grabs that lead away from the Mighty Don at the furlong marker. One with Everything is in third, then in fourth, Ranger Blue. 16th to go, it's Maddie Penny. Maddie Penny at 10-1 pulls off the upset. The Mighty Don hangs on for second. One with Everything third, Ranger Blue fourth. All in the gate. And they're off half a step tardy, Tequila. It's Who Asked You who sends out for the lead. Easy Play and the green blinkers in between runners. And Bad Connection makes it a line of 3 early on. Saloon Girl is 4 wide in fourth. Fabulous Fox 5 wide fifth. Lincolnville Beach is very deep on the course in second last and about 5.5 off the lead. And 3 lengths to the slow starting Tequila, who's at the back of the pack. It's Bad Connection into the turn, who has a lead by 1.5 lengths. Easy Play prompting outside in second. Who Asks You now being asked to go after leaders in third. And then in fourth, that is Saloon Girl. Fabulous Fox circles up on the outside. And then it's Tequila, who's out of last. Lincolnville Beach is at the back of the pack as they arrive at the top of the stretch. An Easy Play is the target. Comes off the turn, leading by 2. Tequila gets on through towards the inside, now up into second. And then it's Saloon Girl, who's in the blue blinkers, followed up by Fabulous Fox on the stand side. They run to the 16th pole. Tequila has overhauled Easy Play in deep stretch. And it's Tequila and Luis Perez who will be visiting the winner's circle. Easy Play second, Fabulous Fox third, Lincolnville Beach fourth. Toka Stables, Jonathan Buckley is the trainer, and Luis Perez, the winning jockey. Jumping Jack Racing bred Tequila. Double. They're all in the gate. And they're off. Jake's Orchard edging out for the front end. Paint the line towards the inside. Maggie's Boy is forwardly placed. Ozzy's in the white blinkers in amongst horses. Johnson charges widest around that first turn. And then it's Break the Fall. A length and a half to Ialfgar, who's got two beat at this point in time. They are Skellig Island and Find a Names at the back of the pack and about 9 lengths off the lead. 4 abreast as they turn on to the backstretch, 6 furlongs to go. Jake's Orchard on top, the leads 3 parts of a length. Ozzy is in chase mode second as it's Mackey's Boy 3 wide, Johnson Charge 4 wide, and then a length, now a half length to Break the Fall, who's in about the 2 path to the outside of Paint the Line. 2 lengths to Ialfgar is only 5 lengths off the lead. Find a Name scrapes the paint in second last, and Skellig Island trails the field. Half mile to go. Jake's Orchard still on top. It leads 3 parts of a length over Ozzy, who's on the outside in second. As it's Paint the Line towards the inside third. Break the Fall races in fourth. Now it's Find a Name skimming the inside, trying to get through towards the inside. Had to put on the brakes slightly. Ialfgar replaces him on the outside into the top 5. 4.5 lengths off the lead. Ialfgar able to get through in between horses up into third as Find a Name had enough of the ground saving mode. Goes to the outside with Skellig Island as they turn into the stretch. It's Jake's Orchard on top. Ialfgar's got the trip, and Ialfgar's got dead aim on Jake's Orchard with 1 furlong to go. Ialfgar takes over from Jake's Orchard. Then it's Break the Fall and Find a Name progressing in the far outside fourth. But with the 16th to go, it's Ialfgar. Give Joel Cruz a Roddy double. Jake's Orchard second over Break the Fall, and then it was Find a Name. Double $53, exacta $35.60, 50-cent try, $31.12. Dime Super, $29.80. They're on the gate, and they're off. A little bit slow, was slow ready. It's Signifying Nothing, who's barreling out for the front. Mio Atlas flashing early speed in second. Mission Avenue right behind the early leaders in third. Practically Summer outside in fourth. Ring of the Rise advancing in fifth. 3.5 off the lead. A space of 2.5 lengths to Jet Tador, who's about a length in front of Slow Ready, who's about 3 in front of Curtain Closed, who's in the 8th and trailing position. On to the turn, Mio Atlas and Signifying Nothing. These two spar for the lead. Practically Summer is in a decent spot in third, now being asked to go after leaders in third, 3 off the lead. Mission Avenue is in fourth, and then in fifth is Jet Tador to the outside of Slow Ready. 2 lengths to Ring of the Rise in second last, and Curtain Closed trails the field as they reach the top of the stretch. Signifying Nothing turns them in as Mio Atlas comes under a busy ride in second, as it's Mission Avenue is trying to get on track in third, followed up by Jet Tador and Ring of the Rise up the inside late, but with the 16th to go, Signifying Nothing shaking up on the front end and responds, leads by 5. Mission Avenue up into second, your winners, Signifying Nothing. Third, Jet Tador and Mio Atlas. Pick 3, 162, $10.20. Pick 5, 5 of 5. 2,500 on the gate. And they're off. Decent start. It's Blamaker and Sweet Julian. These two accelerate out for the front end. Solo's Fury. He Has It All, Can't Stand Disco make up the next flight. Gold Templars at the fence into the top 5, 4 off the lead. In 7th place, that is Joe West along the inside as English Storms in between horses, and Davis Tuitions at the back of the pack and deep on the course and about 10.5, 11 lengths off the lead. Onto the turn, 3 furlongs to go. Blamaker clears off by 2 over Solo's Fury in second. He Has It All contending outside in third. Gold Templar nudged upon in fourth, 6 lengths off the lead, a gap of 5. Joe West is towards the inside in fifth, and then in sixth, it's He Has It All as they turn into the stretch, and it's Blamaker who turns him in, has the lead by about 5 lengths. Solo's Fury and the big white face is in second, and then it's He Has It All and Gold Templar, but with the 16th to go, it's Blamaker. Blamaker's return to the race is a successful one. Blamaker is going to win this race by a comfortable distance. Solo's Fury second, Gold Templar third. He Has It All fourth. 7th race from Finger Lakes, scratch number 4, Lady Rainicorn. They're all in the gate, and they're off. Horrible start for Princess Cairo. Hopped in the air, broke about 6 lengths behind the second to last horse. The back 3 are way behind the top 4, as it's Bald Kitten who gets that early lead. ZN's up the inside, Echo Baby outside up into a joint second with ZN. Fourth place is Hypnotic Flare, then at that big space of about 12 lengths to Mia Nipotina, who's about a length and a half in front of Practical Rachel, and after that bad start, Princess Cairo trails the field. Onto the turn, Bald Kitten on top, the lead's 3 parts of a length. Echo Baby pressing it on the outside in second. Hypnotic Flare sweeps up 3 wide in third, a length off the lead. ZN behind rivals in fourth, 2.5 lengths off the pace. A gap of about 9 lengths to Practical Rachel. Second last Princess Cairo, and Mia Nipotina trails the field. Bald Kitten leaves the rail open for ZN, and ZN comes right on through from fourth up into the lead. ZN with 3/16 to go, scampers clear by 3 open lengths. Hypnotic Flares on the grandstand side, and then it's Echo Baby and Bald Kitten. 16th to go, it's ZN. ZN now a perfect 2 for 2. Lifetime another good looking win from ZN. Hypnotic Flare second, Echo Baby third, Bald Kitten fourth. Post time for the 8th and final from Finger Lakes in 18 minutes at 4:38 p.m. And in they're all in the gate. And they're off. Slow start, last drink, he's last. It's Night Spot who sends out for the front end. Monomoy Beach on the outside. And now First Sons advancing up the inside. First Sons gets a narrow lead over Monomoy Beach. In third, that is Night Spot, followed up by Last Drink towards the inside. In fourth, fifth place, Support the Cat, who's to the inside of Dancing with Jake. Then 2 lengths to Connect the Brox, who's about 3 lengths in front of Sway the Jury, who's at the back of the pack. It's First Sons on the turn with 3 furlongs to go with the neck in front of Monomoy Beach, who's challenging on the outside. Night Spot circles up wide as Last Drink has nowhere to run. Will try and sneak through at the fence. Will Last Drink. And now it's Connect the Brox, who goes about 4 wide into the stretch. So a few chances here. They reach the top of the stretch. Monomoy Beach, Connect the Brox as its Last Drink up the inside third. First Sons drops back and forth. 1 furlong to go. Monomoy Beach is strong on the front end and opens up by a couple lengths. Connect the Brox is a clear-cut second best to Monomoy Beach. Give Joel Cruz 3 wins on the card. Connect the Brox second. Last Drink was third. 75 cents. Pick 4. Ladies and gentlemen, will you please rise as we play our national anthem? Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Finger Lakes. A Wednesday afternoon of thoroughbred horse racing. 8 races are scheduled. Track at Finger Lakes is fast. Got about 60 minutes to race number 1. My name is Bill Downs, track announcer here at Finger Lakes, and I've got the scratches and changes for today's card. In the first race, there are no changes, and as you can see, no changes in races 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. Race 6. Number 5, Pisgah Pike, is 1 pound over. Race 7. There are no changes. 8th and final. Number 7, It's Not Over Yet, 3 pounds over. That's a look at the scratches and changes here at Finger Lakes. Track is fast. First race in about 59 minutes at 1 p.m. Handicapping with Dave is next. Have fun and good luck.
I'm David Tice here at Finger Lakes Gaming and Racetrack. Gonna have a fast track today. Loving the weather. It's getting a little bit nicer, a little bit warmer, getting closer to summer, and maybe the rain's holding off a little bit for us this week. Make it for a fair racetrack. We've had a couple of fair racetrack days in a row. Gotta like it, but man, yesterday is very memorable in a sense of I haven't seen a 103 and change in some years here, and everyone knows I've been here for a while. There's a horse from My Purple Haze stable yesterday. It was a Blamiker, just tore up the racetrack in 103 and change. We're gonna have to keep an eye on that one. That was very, very impressive, to say the least. And we've had a couple impressive performances over the last week or two. How about Jack and Bernie last week? As that horse looked pretty good going 6 furlongs, but 5.5 furlongs for a horse making first start as a 3-year-old. Only ran twice. Talk about Blamiker. Only ran 2 times as a 2-year-old. One first time out. I think the horse didn't even get bet. The horse was like 6-1. They put the horse in a minor stakes race, didn't hit the board, and then just must be just prospering now as a 3-year-old. Because came off the layoff and went 103 and change. And it's not as fast a track as we had last week, so it was very impressive. Just had to throw that out there, as that was for trainer Chris Engelhart and My Purple Haze stable. Just got to keep an eye on that horse, because, man, that was just, you turn your head again and look up and say, wow, did that horse just do 103 and just dominate that field? Certainly did. Very impressive. So you always got to mention the impressive performances. You know, other guys having good. Joel Cruz continues his winning ways. He had a few wins. Andre Worries having a very good week. Those are a couple guys to keep an eye on. Man, I mean, everybody goes on streaks, but you know, Andre I think is really picking it up lately. And Joel Cruz, I mean, out of nowhere. He's been one of our top riders to start off this year, riding very well, and deserves some recognition. Another good day for him. You know, 8 races on today's card. Just remember, Monday we got a very good card with 9 races. So make sure you're playing Finger Lakes. That'll be our next racing day. We are dark for the rest of the week. Obviously, we have simulcast wagering here at Finger Lakes every day. I'll be up there keeping everybody in line on Friday and Saturdays, at least for now. Okay, fast racetrack today. Kind of see how it plays. I mentioned the track seems to be evening out from last week when we had a pretty quick racetrack. Maybe because the weather's holding off a little bit. Start off with a pretty good purse here. It's optional claiming allowance. Get a 30,000 tag. Nobody's in for that 30,000 tag, so they're all running for the 26 whatever purse. Non-winners of 4 races are optional claiming, and now 4 races since the date. And you look at this race, yeah, it's a relatively short field, but a very classy field. Probably with the exception of maybe Interstate's a little cheaper than these horses, but the rest of them, all pretty good ones at the level. I'm looking at Steiner and Royal Suspect. I mean, Steiner is the inside speed. Royal Suspect's got some speed, but nobody's got the speed that Steiner has in here. So it's just a matter of, Steiner loves this racetrack. Are we going to see the Steiner that we saw was here before? I mean, he didn't look as good. He's running down south or running at Parks the last couple. I mean, he did win one of those races, but when Steiner gets a lead here at Finger Lakes, I remember they dropped the horse at the end of last year. Not even looking at the program, I remember that, and he tore it up. I mean, he ran against the 11 and 9s, and he was lightning fast, opened up a lead, and just never looked back. So when Steiner's right and he gets out there to the lead, you don't catch him. He likes this racetrack, but you can't discount the chances of Royal Suspect here. Came off the layoff, ran in the stake, and it was just simply too far back to have any impact. I know they ended up going quick as Ladies Golden guy shot out there, and then Looms Bowley had to make a move on that horse, and then they battled to the wire, and Tacoma Road was the one who took advantage and closed the win. But you know what? Tacoma Road's in pretty good form right now. That one came back and ran a good second against Jack and Bernie. So it makes the race look a little bit better. It was a little bit on the weaker side, I was thinking, for the stakes race. But after watching Tacoma Road run pretty decently against Jack and Bernie, I mean, Jack and Bernie would have easily won that race, but for that horse to run back a good second, it makes the race better. And the fact that Royal Suspect was off a layoff, kind of out of his element, because he seems to be a little better going long. I mean, he could go long or short. We've seen him win going short. We've seen him win going long. It doesn't matter. But in these starter allowances, or the starter allowances that he was in, and the state bred allowance conditions, he's very consistent in the route races. And he's got that running style where he's very versatile. He can go to the front end if there's not a lot of pace in the race. He can press the issue if he wants to, or he can sit back and make a little bit of a run. We've seen him do both. He's in an interesting spot here because Steiner's quicker from the rail. So he's going to have to track on the outside and then try to make a move on Steiner. It'll be interesting to see how he does it. If he's better than Steiner right now, maybe he could wear that horse down. Now, if he makes an early move, it does open the door for Crypto Causeway. Crypto Causeway pulled off an improbable upset, coming off the layoff, taking advantage of a pace, and I didn't see it coming, but I didn't expect Don't Lose Cruise to send all out after busting away, and they kind of did Crypto Causeway a big favor. Don't Lose Cruise never showed speed in his life that I saw. He went right after. I guess he's trying to win the race. You're not going to let Bustin' Away get out there and just cruise. He's trying to win the race, so he goes after Bustin' Away. And what it did was, it softened up Bustin' Away, but it opened the door for Crypto Causeway to come up the rail and pull off the upset. Congratulations to Donna Beretta. The horse ran big off the layoff, not taking anything away from him. And he does seem to be better going long. So he's not out of it, but I think they have to open the door a little bit for him here as well. Steiner's got to stop on the front end because he's got that closing style. So good race to open it up. We got I'm going to go with the 154. Not really going out on a limb in this race. But again, which Steiner are we going to see? Well, he does seem to love this racetrack. And he's back home. Okay, second race at 11-9, never won 4 condition. Going 6 furlongs. I did take a little bit of an upset in race number 2. Got a few of them today. The pace scenarios are going to matter now that we got a little more of a fair racetrack this week. You don't have to just say go after the best speed anymore. I thought 5 Aces would keep Bustino Santino honest in here. And if that occurs, it gives an enticing prospect. I like the enticing in the name, but it gives enticing prospect a chance in here. I know the last couple races for enticing prospect aren't that good, and that's why you're going to get a price on the horse, because people are going to look at that. And I mean, he hasn't beaten a horse in those 2 races at Aqueduct, but he is overmatched as well. I mean, you'd like to see him beat a horse, I know, but he finished dead last in both of them. But you go back to the Finger Lakes races, they are against allowance horses, so he's going to be sharp enough, and he comes back, and he has a couple good works to return to the races. The key to the race is Bustino Santino not getting away on the front end, but it is 6 furlongs, and that's why I lean towards enticing prospect for a little bit of price, because if it's 5.5, no doubt I'm taking Bustino Santino on front, up on top. 5.5, no doubt. I don't think they beat Bustino Santino at 5.5. At 6 furlongs, where Bustino Santino's 1 for 12, and maybe gets a little bit tired if 5 Aces keeps the pressure on, enticing prospect, and maybe even Smile Takes Charge, the stablemate of Bustino Santino, could be the ones to take advantage of late. Now, Bustino Santino looks like the horse to beat off of the last race. A good effort on the front end. He did have everything his own way, and he was supposed to beat that field, and he did. Now, 5 Aces probably wants to help Revivalism. I mean, they're going to run the race like an entry. 5 Aces got speed, Revivalism closer. I know they're 2 different owners, but 5 Aces really has one way of going, and he's just as fast as Bustino Santino if he wants to be. I know he's off a layoff, so he's not going to be ridiculously aggressive, and it is 6 furlongs, but he's as fast as Bustino Santino. That might hurt the chances of Bustino Santino a little bit, but I thought either Smile Takes Charge or Revivalism you could consider here. I don't know how good Revivalism is. He seems like he wants to go longer, and that's the thing. He did win because he beat a much easier field last time in the sprint. This is a lot tougher field than the field that Revivalism just beat, but he does have a good running style. So to take him at 5-2, I mean, you can't throw out Windy Lee Farm and Revivalism. And I kind of look at it like, what am I doing here? But he didn't beat anything last time. Smile Takes Charge was well met early in his career. They tried the horse in the Ontario County Stakes in his first race off a layoff. I mean, I guess you'll like a horse when you do that. I mean, he had no chance in there, but at least the connections thought something of the horse to try him in there off of a layoff. And he ran in mostly allowance races last year before dropping so he could be eligible for the waiver claim. You see that here a lot. So he's better than a lot of these, and he stays at the 11-9 because he is eligible to run protected in the waiver claim. I think he plays as well. I thought it was a little more open of a race than the line suggests here, and I'm going to take a little bit of a price at 7-2 on enticing prospect. But I got the inside horses. The old 1, 2, 3. In my case, 3, 1, 2. Third race, another good optional claiming allowance race, and another one where they're all in for the condition, nobody in for the tag. It is the non-winners of 2 state bred. And another smaller field, but a good evenly matched field. Rhymes Like Dimes, he just didn't run that well in the Barker. I actually thought that what I was talking about, Royal Suspect, ran a little bit better than Rhymes Like Dimes. The good thing about Rhymes Like Dimes is His stablemate ended up getting the money. Tacoma Road was the one that ran the big race. Rhymes Like Dimes, I thought, was going to be the one that might have been the better closer, considering the back class, or at least the horse had some class. I guess Tacoma Road's more of the up and comer right now, but he might actually be better, a little bit better going long. I mean, he's done well going short and long here. They don't keep him in the barn. He does run a lot, and he runs pretty decently. If you look back to when he won the one state bred allowance, it was going long last summer here at Finger Lakes, defeating Rosie's Pepino, who's in here. And what's key about that is Rosie's Pepino is a true off-track horse. I know Rhymes Like Dimes is as well. He likes it off-track, but that one, to beat that one on an off-track, that's in his backyard. They dropped this horse to a claimer, but he ran into a sharp Steiner, who I mentioned earlier. Came off the layoff, ran a good second to Ladies Golden Guy, who's loose on the lead. Nobody's going to beat Ladies Golden Guy when there's no other speed going 5 furlongs. So I thought he ran well. I don't think he ran as well in the stakes race, considering that it should have set up for him a little bit better. But he didn't fire in that race. Maybe he bounces back going against a little bit easier competition in the 2 state bred here and stretching out to a route. I'm going to take him on top. Starship Tango's working on a win streak. He's looking for 4 in a row, and he does look like the inside speed. The question is, how easy a lead is he going to get, or is Count Frost going to keep this one honest? Count Frost being outside. And Rhymes Like Dimes has some tactical speed too from the inside that he can make an early move. But I thought Starship Tango might have a little bit of a tactical edge if he's able to get the lead in here. It really is a question, is he good enough going from the 1 state bred to the 2 state bred? My thing here with the allowance conditions, the toughest move in progression, I mean, you go the 2 lifetime, the 3 lifetime, the 4 lifetime, it gets easier going to the 1 state bred. I thought the toughest move usually is going from that 1 state bred to the 2 state bred. Now you're in against legitimate allowance horses, because a lot of times in the 1 state bred you'll face some claiming level horses. So the toughest move here at Finger Lakes is going from that 1 state bred to the 2 state bred. So this will be the real test for Starship Tango. But again, he does look like he has a tactical edge. And he's sharp. He's looking for 4 in a row if you go back to his Florida races. The other question mark is going to be the 4 Our Man Mike, because he is off a layoff. You know he's got that closing running style, and he's kind of at the mercy of the pace here if Count Frost is able to put some pressure on Starship Tango in this one. He does have the lightweight Count Frost. Our Man Mike could be better than these horses. Could be. Problem is he going to be sharp enough in his first start since November? A long time away from the races. He was against in a tougher race that day, running in the 3 state bred. Today, back in the 2 state bred because he's still eligible. I like Our Man Mike. I'd like Our Man Mike if he had a race, but this is his first start off the break. Still got to use him. And if you are going to win off a layoff here at Finger Lakes, what trainer's going to do that? Usually say Michael S. Ferraro and Jimmy Wright. Jimmy Wright no longer claims stable here, so I would say Michael S. Ferraro is probably the best off the layoff in a route. You don't see too many trainers do that here at Finger Lakes, other than maybe Jimmy Wright. He's not claiming here anymore or training here anymore. But yeah, and you got to give. We don't hear about Jimmy Wright anymore because he's not here anymore. I got to give him a little bit of a shout out as far as how good he was, because some of the horses that he had when he was here, they went to other people after he stopped training. All the horses regress. And that just shows how good of a trainer he was. Still, I mean, he still would be. 4th race, 11-9 claimer, never won 2 condition, going 5.5 furlongs. This starts the late pick 5. Remember, the early one starts in the 1st. The late pick 5 starts in the 4th. This one has the carryover if nobody hits it. Tricky race, got a field of 8. Again, I'm going for a little bit of an upset. Nurka Huerta's very good trainer here with her small stable. I think she made a sharp move here claiming this horse. Moving up in class, you look at the field, other than Nikki Brainburst, who won a maiden special weight, and Zen Lu, who won a special weight but is off a layoff, they're horses that would be competitive at 5,000 and not necessarily beat 5,000 claimers. So I thought the race, other than maybe Nikki Brainburst, and I don't know how good Shohana is going to be, because the last couple of races aren't as good, but it's almost like a $5,000 claiming race. With that said, Ali Song, who was claimed for 5, moves up here, but not really. She ran second against Joyful Departure, but she might have got beat by the racetrack more than she got beat by Joyful Departure. That was a strange racetrack where it was an inside closer day. Here, that's rare, I'll say that. But 5.5 today, she won't be that far back. And Nikki Brainburst might not have it very easy on the front end because there is some other speed in here that Ali Song might be able to get a trip. It might step up in a sense and win today off the claim for Nerco Huertas. Just taking a shot here. This horse is at odds of 6-1 and was facing a lot tougher in New York. And it's not like she ran that badly in her first start here. She didn't win that 5. She was expected to win that 5. Obviously, she was a very short price. But again, it was one of those days where the track was playing more towards inside closers. It was a tiring racetrack, but a tiring save ground type racetrack that this horse was kind of against it in that sense because she was close up to the pace and outside. Give her a chance here, and I'm going over a little bit of an upset. She's 6-1. Yeah, Nikki Brainburst looks like the horse to beat off of a maiden special weight victory. She moves not to face the allowance horses off of a good-looking score. She's going to go to 11-9. Automatically makes her a strong player in here. She's got to put the weight on. Chris Elliott is on Franny Law on the outside. But she's going to be tough. Now, keep in mind, that was back in May. It was 4.5 furlongs, so she's off a little bit of a layoff, and I think that's the concern if you're going to back Nikki Brainburst, because not a lot of activity shown since that race. But class-wise, you got to figure she's going to be tough. Yeah, I talked about My Purple Haze stable, Chris Engelhardt, Andre Worry. Yesterday they were the talk of the day. I mean, what that horse did, talking about Blamiker, man. So the other My Purple Haze stable horse had a pretty impressive performance the other day as well. That other one they had from New York had won 2 in a row. So you can't discount these connections at all. Yeah, this one was facing a lot tougher in New York against the 40,000s. Ran second against the 40,000s back in the fall. Came off a long layoff and hasn't shown anything going long in the 2 starts since. Shortens up big time here, but the big thing is faces a lot easier field than what she's been facing. So where does Shahona stand right now? How good is she? Well, on her best, she easily beats these no matter what the distance. It does seem like it's a little short compared to what she's been running against. But she's got a class edge on this field. So it's almost like if you're playing pick 4s, pick 5s, you got to use this horse. I can't throw her out. I mean, I don't like a short price on a horse that's not showing anything as far as the 7-2. But again, the connections are good and the class is there. Same thing with Franny Law. I mean, Franny Law is facing a lot tougher, and her form isn't that good. So she gets a little bit of a class relief. But the problem with Franny Law and why I didn't use her a little higher, kind of like Zen Lu. I mean, Zen Lu's maiden victory is probably just as good as Nikki Brainburst's maiden victory, but that one's off a layoff since November. Franny Law is off a layoff since September. So what do you do with this horse? I mean, if she runs her race, she's going to be awfully tough in here. But her last race that she shows wasn't that good. Obviously, Wayne Potts is a very good trainer, and his horses all run well. They're the ones he brings in, and the horse got a weight advantage. I just don't know coming off the layoffs in September and coming off a couple poor efforts. Maybe the freshening will do this horse good. I'm going to throw her in there on class. 7, 6, 5, and 8. But pretty competitive fourth race. Remember, that one starts the pick 5. Okay, we'll start the late pick 4 with race number 5. I got Panman's area code here, 315. Goes the distance of 1.70 miles. Yeah, it was tough to go against high water mark after watching the replays of the events that these horses come out of. High water mark lost a lot. You talk about a horse in the beginning of the race having some bad luck and having some ground to make up. He got squeezed at the start and found himself far, far back with a lot to do. Should have won. And the problem was, with a lot of work to do, horse was still erratic in the stretch. He was lugging in, lugging out. Cruz had a lot of trouble keeping this horse straight, which could be a problem if he, with a horse that's a little erratic like that. It was his first race over the track. Says he checked it. Horse didn't check at all. He was just kind of in and out, trying to lug in a little bit on his horses. But he was, after the start, that's correct. He was jostled right after the start, as it says in the program. Like, kind of like squeezed and knocked around, and he fell back and had a lot of work to do. And again, was very erratic as far as trying to stay straight and get around horses, that he didn't get to the victory. Give him another chance today. An error-free trip for high water mark should get it done. Main threats, I thought, would be, you got Asaf Ronan with horses that are still maidens, but you could argue a little tougher maiden races that they come out of. Stimuli comes out of the Monomoy Beach race. Man, Monomoy Beach, what a performance by that one in the last race for Beth Miller-Saul. Talk about claiming and getting your money back. The money showed, too. Maybe it was from the previous connections. They kind of jammed the horse in and got caught, and we were playing the horse. But Monomoy Beach looked good in victory yesterday, dropping back down, dropping back down to the 11 and 9. And this horse running second to him in that maiden victory where he was just way much the best. I think Monomoy Beach would have won an allowance race. Neptune Beach, speaking of beaches, comes out of a maiden special weight race, so he gets a little class relief, dropping to the 11 and 9. Again, Stimuli's going long. I don't know about the distance for that one. Neptune Beach, though, shouldn't be an issue. And gets the weight off with the apprentice rider. And the big thing is, drops a notch in class to the 11 and 9. I thought they were the main threat. The other one might be Smokeskin It Up. They say that one, Smokeskin It Up. I guess you say it after you're smoking it up, maybe. But this one switches to Andre Worry, who's been on fire and made a nice move last time. I just, didn't have the best trip, but made a nice move against that 47. And again, high water mark passed him, and so did the winner. The problem is, if you're back and Smokeskin It Up, I thought high water mark got the worst of it, and he ran ahead of this horse. So I thought he ran the better race. So this one might have to improve off of that race, or high water mark might need to have trouble again for this horse to turn the tables on that one and win the race. So playable off of a good effort. I think the drop from the special weight to the maiden claiming race, especially after the trouble this horse had in the maiden special weight race, really responded to the drop last time. Not out of it, but again, might have to improve a little bit to beat high water marks. Going to 3, 1 entry, 5. In race number 5. All right, 6th race. Another 11 and 9 maiden claimer, but an even more difficult maiden claimer to dope out. I say that because you got a couple drop downs. A couple horses running good in the condition. Jeanette, I mean, what do you do with Jeanette? I mean, this horse. One thing that makes Jeanette look better, I mean, I was kind of down. I probably the worst favorite of the year last time. I was watching the board last time, and I'm like, how are they betting this horse against a tougher field after he failed against special weights? Well, you know what? The special weight that he lost and gave it up ends up being a better race because Z End, the horse that defeated this horse in the race before, looked really good coming back to beat winners. I was actually surprised and impressed by the race that Z End ran yesterday for Deborah Breed. Actually had a little trouble, got caught behind horses, but Stephen Frett was very patient, came up the inside and won the race in a good time. So it makes Cajonet, even though he's been stopping a lot, hard to like, it makes her race look that much better. And she did have trouble last time. She didn't break all that well from the outside, and they got caught chasing and was never in it. And now she's in at the 11 and 9. She really had no chance against that field. I don't know who was betting her last time, but man, she's a strong player today. I just had funny forecasts with the breeding of. I like these practical joke horses. I mean, Ralph D'Alessandro had that real good practical joke horse last year. Was up for Horse of the Year, won a couple awards. Runaway Joke. This one just turned 4, dropped to the 11 and 9, added Lasix, and ran well. Ran a good second in a pretty decent 11 and 9 field. I like the race that she comes out of. She was getting beat up pretty badly in her races in New York, so it was good to see her wake up a little bit in that first start of the year. I think if she just takes one step forward, doesn't need to make much of a step forward off the good second. You look at the race, she's basically chasing in the race. I thought she ran very well. I'm gonna go with her on top. It's a similar race. The big question is Cajonet. Is it now or never for Cajonet dropping the 11 and 9? Yeah, it doesn't really change trainers because I see the trainer in the owner's line. Always right there. I mean, numbers-wise, buyer-wise, she's better than anybody in this field. Does she want to win is another question. At least she got a really good rider on the horse with Sophia. The two Freedom Dreams looks like the speed. Inside speed anyway. There does seem a possibility if Cajonet decides to go after her or not, if she breaks well. Nikki Brainburst, we could go to school on that one if you like this one. Nikki Brainburst is in the 4th race. See how good that one does. She's got a race back over the track against maiden special weights. And again, Nikki Brainburst might have just got loose and alone and gone. So this horse plays. Now she becomes one of the speeds after chasing the speed last time, and that could be all she needs, going from 4.5 to 5.5. But the big thing is dropping back down to the 11 and 9, very winnable level for Freedom Dreams, who figures to be the favorite. She's the morning line favorite. I'll throw in the 5, Pisgah Pike. Tricky read on this one. I mean, she's only had 2 starts. Another one that's very well bred. Instead of a dam by Bernardini by Blame. Blame's a good sire. But the dam side, the dam cost $400,000. Maybe they paid for her for breeding purposes, but she paid $400,000 a 4-year-old because she's a half to a couple stakes winner. So that's my assumption. She's probably worth that for breeding purposes, being from a good family there. Interesting enough, though, this one just sold at auction. They just bought this horse for $10,000 last month. Interesting. And in for around the price at the 11 and 9 level. She's in for 11. She ran at Mahoning last time and ran a decent race at Mahoning and figures off of that race to be competitive in this spot. Only making her 3rd career start. And this one as a 3-year-old gets a few pounds. Wouldn't be surprised if she was able to break through and get the victory. 3.825 in a competitive race. And it does stand to mention, you got an M. Anthony Ferraro horse At 12 to 1 morning line from the outside, you might want to consider that one as well. By the way, Farrar Jr. won one of the early races yesterday at 10 to 1. You get the top trainer at 10 to 1, and the horse figured. Sometimes you get on one of the horses that knocked, I think it was because another horse was 1 to 2 in there. And that one's well bred too. It's a big brown. Would like to see that one go long though. Okay, 7th race. An allowance race going a distance of a mile, not winners of a race other than maiden claiming or starter, or never won 4 conditions. So it's that split condition. You generally look for the horses that are in for other condition, not the 4 lifetime. They seem to have the advantage than the lifetime horses. But when you scan the field, it's pretty much a straight 4 lifetime. They're all 3-time winners in this race. Makes it easier when you're kind of comparing one to the other. The big thing in here is the fact that there's a lot, and I'm saying a lot, of early pace types. Hey Toby from the Rail has speed. Skylar Starship has speed. When they tried to rate the horse last year, it didn't work out. Unfortunately, they chose a day when the horse was 1 to 5 to try to rate the horse. Didn't work out. I don't know, maybe they tried today. They got a stablemate that's got a stalking style. In a Minute seems to have one way of going from the outside. That one's got early speed and obviously much better when he's on the front end. With that said, I'm liking the other Ferraro trainee, Love That Bird, with a nice inside stalking trip. Will that happen? Maybe. Is he better than Skylar Starship, his stablemate? I don't know, maybe not, but he might get the trip here. He ran a good top 3 finish going a sprint. Now he stretches out to a better distance. So, you don't usually like to take the owner's horse or the trainer's horse over his other owner's horses, but I think Love That Bird would be the one to get the trip here. He's one that's versatile. He can go to the front end, or he could sit back and make a run. I would think that a race like this, that he's a horse that could pass horses where Skylar Starship isn't, that he's going to be the one to sit and make a run. I'm usually wrong, though, when it comes to when Farrar Jr. has 2 in the race. He usually sends the one that I don't expect him to put on the lead. But I would think Love That Bird gets the trip in here and put him on top. The other one's going to be tough, too. But, again, he's going to have some pressure if he wants the front end, and you'd expect him to. Never runs a bad race. I think the worst race that he ran was the day he tried to rate. But he's always first or second. Unfortunately, he's usually second. But he ran a good race off of the break where he showed his sprint speed, but got worn down, and Happy Instead was the one who got the trip. But it was a good inside day. I'll go with him second. I like both Ferraro horses. They should be both tough in here. Hey Toby looks to be the other one. He's got speed on the inside. He comes back after running in New York. I thought ran a pretty decent race last time against a good field. They didn't go that fast up front, so he didn't really have an excuse in that sense. But it's just a tougher field, those 25s. He did win in New York back a few months ago. Somebody here might have bet him that day too. Hey Toby, going to use him in the top 3. He's another one that really plays there. But it's a tricky race because the amount of pace in here. Big Rich could have a closing style, even though he's coming out of the sprint race. The fact that in a minute's in the race, he could maybe try to stalk a little bit. And then Morvino also, more of a stalky style. He seems a little outclassed, but maybe his running style here could help him as well. It's a race loaded with early pace types. Even the ones that do come from out of it, they're not horses that come from far out of it, which you may see some pretty decent fractions for the mile in race number 7. Again, going with a 2-4-1. Okay, last race on the card, 5,000 claimer going that flat mile again. This one's a never won 3 condition. This is really the never won 3 condition. I have Mixed feelings on this one. Street Cop Officer looks like the horse to beat. It is not a good move, though, when you see a horse come off the layoff for the waiver claim and then is in for 5,000 for sale in the next start. And then his jockey is on the other trainee for that for the other trainer's horse. Not a positive sign. But on paper, Street Cop Officer is supposed to beat this field. Comes out of a race won by Ironman Ira, who ran off the field, off the screen. I mean, you got a couple horses out of that race, and keep in mind that's not a big negative. Independent Paul and Street Cop Officer both come out of that race. Maybe that Ironman Ira, who runs next week, was just so much the best and better than those claimers that the rest of them are running for second. And Street Cop Officer and Independent Paul, neither one of them are that far behind the second place horse. It's just because the winner won by so much. The race looks worse. He looks like he ran worse than he did. Keep that in mind. And it was his first start off the layoff. Unfortunately, maybe Perez thought he ran worse than he did. I don't know. On paper, he's supposed to win. I got him on top. Now, what do you do with Tiz Lucky, who I guess they gave up on this horse already, dropping him all the way down to the bottom at 5,000. He's better than these horses. Of course, so is Street Cop Officer. Problem is the running style. They send this horse to the front end, and he gets tired every time. Even when he was an allowance horse, he got mixed up in the speed duels. He needs to sit back and try to make one run. Unfortunately, from what I've watched, they can't rate this horse. Maybe he wins anyway, but at some point, you got to get somebody that can rate this horse, and he could be a much better horse than what he's shown on paper, because he's a very good-looking horse and a very well-bred horse. He just needs to rate and not be sent to the front end like he is every time. May not matter today. He may win anyway because it's 5,000. The 5 Independent Paul, again, same thing as Street Cop Officer. He drops to 5 coming out of a race where the winner ran off the screen. He wasn't far behind the second horse, so he's better than what he looks on paper. And then Hanini's shooting bullets for his return, or at least one bullet. The works are pretty decent, but he's off since November. So I'm going to go with a 6-4-5-1 in today's last race. Of course, you got Keegs as the speed as well. Maybe that's a negative for my horses as Perez goes to that one. Maybe that one has a shot to steal it as well. Another one to consider using in the last race. All right, this is the last day of live racing of the racing week. Man, we had what a memorable week that we had. A couple of really nice performances. I mentioned that Purple Haze Stable horse yesterday. Man, keep an eye on that one. I think Sweet Anniversary from a couple of weeks ago is another one to keep an eye on this summer as well. That horse had an impressive effort. Kind of watching some of these horses that win these allowance races for the future. I think that one already is the Ontario County Stakes favorite. We continue live racing on Monday. We've got a good card. We got 9 races on Monday with a 1 o'clock first post. So I'll see you then.
Horses coming on the track for first race. Looks like we're leading with number 2, Post Facto, and Kevin Navarro. Number 3 is Interstate and Christian Navarro. Number 4, Crypto Causeway and Jeremiah Flores. Number 5 is Royal Suspect and Joel Cruz. And number 1, Steiner, Emmanuel de Diego in the irons. Track listed as fast here at Finger Lakes. First race in approximately 4 minutes. Approaching the starting gate here at Finger Lakes. And the horses have arrived at the starting gate. First race from Finger Lakes. First of 8 races on this Wednesday. Track is fast. Humid conditions. Muggy. Got some cloud cover here in western New York. Second choice, 8-5, Royal Suspect, the last to load up. Royal Suspect going up and in. They're all in the gate. They're off and running at Finger Lakes. Crypto Causeway, Royal Suspect, Steiner along the inside. Now it's post facto in between horses. Backs off the pace in third. Crypto Causeway is in second last and is to the outside of Interstate as they take on that first turn here at Finger Lakes. It's Steiner. Steiner and Royal Suspect. They are first and second, and they're clear by about 7 lengths over Interstate, who's to the inside of Post Facto for third, and a length and a half to Crypto Causeway, who's shuffled back to the tail of the field as they angle on to the backstretch. It's Steiner. Steiner, the big favorite, has a lead over Royal Suspect. The margin to the third place horse is about 9. Interstate is in third. Now Crypto Causeway with the middle move. Crypto Causeway was dead last about a half furlong to go, and now is up into third, but still about 10 lengths off the lead. And Post Facto now in the 5th and trailing position as they make the entry into the far turn. It's Steiner and De Diego on top. The lead's 3 lengths. Royal Suspect coming under pressure in second, as it's Crypto Causeway who continues to improve in third, 8 lengths off the lead, and then many lengths back to Interstate and Post Facto. As they arrive at the top of the stretch, it's Steiner, the huge favorite, who has the lead by 8 over Crypto Causeway, who's now a clear-cut second. Royal Suspect plugging away in third. They run down to the final furlong. It's Steiner on top by 7 lengths over Crypto Causeway, who's skimming the inside in second. 16th to go. Steiner is clear by 5, and Steiner was a cut above the rest. Crypto Causeway second, Royal Suspect third, Post Facto fourth. One 4.52, miles 70 yards, 143.49. First race is official. Steiner pays $3 to win. Career win number 14 for Steiner, Kentucky bred. 7-year-old bay gelding by Daher out of Tafiz. Jeff Engelhart, owner trainer, Emmanuel de Diego, the winning jockey. Richard Forbush, bred Steiner. Exacta 13.40, 50-cent try, 4.60, dime superfecta, $1.03. Second race at Finger Lakes, there are no changes. Exacta, trifecta, superfecta, daily double, pick 3 wagering. Post time in about 20 minutes at 1:29 p.m. Finger Lakes Bonus Bets is offering incredible 8% rewards on your Finger Lakes wagers. Simply wager $2,500 per month on racing from Finger Lakes to receive that offer. If you get over $1,000 a month, you still get 6% rewards. New customers get a $50 sign-up bonus once they have wagered $100. FingerLakesBonusBets.com. You play, we pay.
All right, horse in the paddock 4, race number 2, and it's good to be home as Steiner absolutely loves this racetrack. He gets out there, and it doesn't matter the fractions. Royal Suspect tried to press him, and he did actually go pretty quick early, but he just keeps going. That's especially at that level. Steiner's just tough to pass here at Finger Lakes. Loves this track. Emmanuel DiDiego for owner trainer Jeff Engelhart, and the money showed as well. Second race, a never won 3 condition, going 6 furlong. Very competitive group here. The inside speed looks to be the one. Bustino Santino, he's getting a lot of the early plays, and it's all a question of how much pressure he gets early, because he could be vulnerable if 5 Aces does apply the pressure to him at 3/4. So this is further than the 5.5, and he did have everything his own way last time, and he came home quick for the day, 107 for the 11 and 9s. But he's supposed to win. There wasn't much speed in there. He was lone speed in 47. So he'll probably have to do a little quicker than that to get the lead. He won't have a 23 first quarter anyway if he wants the lead. But he might just be better than most of these anyway, so he's getting a lot of the play. I did go for a minor upset in here with the 3 Enticing Prospect, because I think he might get the trip. If you figure 5 Aces to press Bustino Santino if they go 22 and change, Enticing Prospect would be the one sitting the trip. Now, his last 2 races aren't very good. He finished last in both of them in New York, but at least he's got a couple races under him in Sharp, and he's another one, maybe returning home, he'll run a lot better, because his races last year are good enough to beat these, and he does have a good work over the track. The 2 horse is Smile Takes Charge, the stablemate of Bustino Santino, and he came off the layoff last year and was put over his head in the Ontario County Stakes, so at least they thought enough of him to try him there. Then he went into regular allowance races. He was very competitive against the Lifetimes. They dropped at the end of the year so he could be eligible for the waiver claim this year. And other than that, he was close, and he fits nicely against the 11 and 9s. It is just a question of the layoff. You really can't gauge how good he ran well fresh last year because he was so far over his head. But at a realistic spot here, he's another one that could sit just off his stablemate and make a little bit of a run. If he's sharp enough, he'd be no surprise to win this race. But he is a big price right now at odds of 7-1. The other horse getting play is the 6 Revivalism. His number last race was a little light because he did beat a weaker field, but he was facing some decent competition before arriving here, and his running style might help him if they do duel and back up. Again, he might have to improve off that last race, but you can't fault him for doing what he needed to do to beat that much easier field. So today we'll find out how good he is, and you always got to respect these connections. They've been winning races. Exacta Tri Super Daily Double and Pick 3 starts in race number 2. You have 5 minutes to post.
Horses coming on the track for race number 2 from Finger Lakes. Number 1, Bustino Santino, Jeremias Flores, aboard. Number 2 is Smile Takes Charge and Emmanuel de Diego. Number 3, Enticing Prospect and Caber Koa. Number 4, Socks for Daughters, Stephen Frett calling the shots. Number 5 is 5 Aces and Joel Cruz. But we'll go to the 6, Revivalism, Kevin Navarro. And number 5 is 5 Aces with Joel Cruz aboard. Post time in a few. Horses are approaching the starting gate at Finger Lakes. And the horses have arrived at the starting gate for the second race from Finger Lakes. 6 pack to go, 6 furlongs. 8 to 5 on both number 1 Bustino Santino and number 3 Enticing Prospect. Three to 1 on number 6 Revivalism. Enticing Prospect up into the gate. Socks for Daughters. 5 Aces. And Revivalism. Revivalism going up and in. They're all in the gate. And they're off. Decent start. It's 5 Aces, 1 of 3 sending out for the lead. Bustino Santino at the fence as its Smile takes charge, who's sandwiched in between horses in third. A gap of 4 lengths back to Enticing Prospect in fourth. 3 lengths to Socks for Daughters, who's 2.5 lengths in front of Revivalism, who sets up shop at the tail of the field. Up the backstretch, half-mile to go. Bustino Santino on top by a half. 5 Aces pestering outside second. Smile takes charge in third. 3.5 lengths off the lead. A gap of 3 to Enticing Prospect in the 4 spot, and then a margin of 4 to Revivalism, who will put Socks for Daughters in the 6th in trailing position. 2.5 furlongs to go, and 5 Aces taking it to Bustino Santino. These two in tandem with a 1/4 mile left to travel. Enticing Prospect on the extreme outside as Revivalism's inside of him, and those two are closing in as a team. A few chances here with 3/16 to go. Bustino Santino and 5 Aces have been softened up. Here comes Revivalism and Enticing Prospect, and they brush in mid-stretch. 16th to go. Revivalism's game. Enticing Prospect not going away on the outside. Another bump in deep stretch. Enticing Prospect, Revivalism. Enticing Prospect wins over Revivalism. Bustino Santino third. Socks for Daughters fourth. Whatever numbers are posted, please note stewards are going to take a look at the stretch run. Stewards' inquiry into the stretch run of race 2. Three six 3614, your unofficial order of finish. We also have an objection 6 versus 3 for alleged interference in the stretch. Stewart's inquiry, jockey objection, concerns the unofficial winner. So please hold all tickets while the stewards evaluate the stretch run of race 2 from Finger Lakes. No change. No change in the order of finish. 3614, it will remain. Number 3, Enticing Prospect. New York bred, 4-year-old bay gelding by Enticed out of Ferrito. Sandra Vardine, or Vardine. The owner, M. Anthony Ferraro, the trainer, and Caber Coa, the winning jockey. Sandy Glen Stables bred, Enticing Prospect. It's official. $4.50 the winning mutual. Double $10.20. Exacta $19.20. 50-cent try $13.62. Dime super $8.50. Onward to race number 3. No changes. Exacta, trifecta, superfecta, daily double, pick 3, pick 4 wagering. Post time for race number 3 in 23 minutes at 2:04 p.m.
All right, getting ready for race number 3. We are getting some rumbles of thunder, but it might be around us and not right over us here. So kind of keep an eye on if we are going to get this storm or not. Looking back at the second, yeah, I mean, Enticing Prospect figured to get the trip. Revivalism ran good too. The two of them closed together. Not sure why there was an inquiry. Revivalism was the one who was coming out in that race, but Enticing Prospect able to edge out that one. Cabercoa for M. Anthony Ferraro. Okay, third race starts the pick 4, early pick 4. Also have pick 3 wagering, 10,000 optional claiming allowance, going a mile 70. Start with Rhymes Like Dimes. It's a tricky horse to read because he's run some big numbers in the past, but he's a little bit on the inconsistent side as far as winning races. He's often there. He hits the board a lot against some decent competition. He tried the George Barker last time and just didn't fire that day. His stablemate, though, was the one that did and got the money that Coney rode. And that's interesting because the race before, he ran big off of the layoff, ran a solid second behind Lone Speed winner, Ladies Golden Guy. So he makes his third start off the layoff, first time going long, and probably the easiest field he's faced this year, that he should be able to hold the rail, sit either with the speed or just off the speed on the rail, and will be in contention to win. He's at odds of 3-1. The horse that is getting the play, and understandably so. He's looking for 4 in a row. Talk about Starship Tango. Toughest field he's faced in his career, but he's sharp right now, and he does look like he's the inside speed of the race. So the question is, how good is he? Like I say, he might be better going long, especially if he has a tactical edge, but Count Frost is on the outside, may keep this one honest. And again, it's a much tougher field when you're going from the 1 state break condition to the 2 state break condition. But he's sharp enough right now that he deserves at least to be one of the contenders in this race and is getting a lot of early action. He's a favorite on the board at 7-5. Again, waters are deeper today. And the horse that might be the best horse of the race but is off a layoff is the 4, Our Man Mike. He's got the numbers to win, but he hasn't run since November. And he's got that closing style, so he will be at the mercy of the early pace. He hasn't won at this distance, but he's hit the board 4 out of the 5. You know his style. He sits back and makes a run, so he's got to hope that they back up to him. So those are some of the contenders for the third race. We start the early pick 4. We also have pick 3 wagering, if you prefer that. Exacta Tri Super and Daily Double offered in here.
On the track for race number 3, from Finger Lakes, number 1 Rhymes Like Dimes with Andre Worry. Number 2 is Starship Tango and Caber Koa. Number 3, Roses Pepino and Kevin Gonzalez. Number 4, Our Man Mike, Sofia Vives. And number 5, Count Frost with apprentice Chris Elliott. Post time approximately 4 minutes. Approaching the gate. And the horses have arrived at the starting gate for race number 3 from Finger Lakes. Field of 5. Allowance optional claiming race. 7 to 5 on number 4. Our Man Mike. First start of the year for Our Man Mike. Now even money on him. 2 to 1 on number 2. Starship Tango. Winner of his last 3. Rose's Pepino. Our Man Mike. Count Frost to the outside. They're all in the gate. And they're off. Starship Tango takes the initiative and establishes an early lead over Rhymes Like Dimes. Count Frost is on the outside, will be stuck out 3 wide around that first turn. Rose's Pepino's behind the tri-leaders in 4th, and Our Man Mike takes residency at the tail of the field as they navigate the first turn. Starship Tango wanted that lead and has it by 3 parts of a length with 6.5 furlongs to go. Rhymes Like Dimes harassing outside second. A gap of about 2 lengths to the gray. Count Frost, who's in the 3rd spot, then 5 lengths to Rose's Pepino, is 2 lengths in front of Our Man Mike, who trails the field. They race up the backstretch. It's Starship Tango, who leads by a half length, 3 parts of a length over Rhymes Like Dimes, who stalks in second. As it's Count Frost who gets closer in the 3rd spot. 3 lengths to Rose's Pepino, who's about 2 lengths in front of Our Man Mike, who trails the field. As they make the entry into the far turn, Starship Tango has led every step of the way. The lead's still 3 parts of a length. Rhymes Like Dimes takes another crack at that one outside in second. Now the pace picks up in earnest. As Count Frost is nudged upon in 3rd, Our Man Mike saves all the ground towards the inside 4th. Now up into 3rd, 5 lengths off the lead. And Rose's Pepino trails the field, and Rhymes Like Dimes takes over the lead at the top of the stretch. Starship Tango, it now shifts to the outside in second as Our Man Mike had to angle even further out in 3rd. They got 1 furlong to go. Rhymes Like Dimes opens up by 7 lengths over Our Man Mike, who's up in the 2nd, but it's Rhymes Like Dimes who crushes in this race. Our Man Mike 2nd, Rose's Pepino 3rd. Starship Tango 4th. Number 1, Rhymes Like Dimes 1st. 2nd, number 4, Our Man Mike. 3rd, number 3, Rose's Pepino. 4th, the 2, Starship Tango. Mile 70 yards, 143.94. To the winner's circle, number 1, Rhymes Like Dimes. New York bred. 6-year-old dark brown gelding by Union Jackson out of Sleek. Timothy Murphy, owner, trainer. Andre Worry, the winning jockey. Hidden Lake Farm and Fred Rosen bred. Rhymes Like Dimes. official. 470 the winning win mutual. Double 1320. Exacted 1560. 50-cent try. $13.62. Dime super $3.70. Fourth race, Finger Lakes. No changes. Exacta trifecta, superfecta, daily double, late pick 5 wagering. Post time in about 25 minutes at 2:35 p.m. There's going to be a little bit of a delay before the running of this fourth race. Got some rain. Obviously, if you're watching, you can see that. You're going to be doing some track maintenance before the running of this fourth race. Got a couple late scratches later on in our program. Seventh race is our first late scratch of the two. And we're going to announce seventh race scratch number 4, Skylar's Starship. Seventh race scratch number 4, Skylar's Starship. And then in the eighth race, scratch number 6, Street Cop Officer. Eighth race, scratch number 6, Street Cop Officer. Okay, I got some scratches in this fourth race. Scratch number 2, Zen Lu. Scratch number 3, Nurse Bunny. Scratch number 4, Miss Wobbles. Scratch number 6, Nikki Brainburst. 2, 3, 4, 6, all scratched from this fourth race. Ladies and gentlemen, the fourth race here at Finger Lakes is going to be canceled. We are planning to run race number 5 and the rest of the card, but we need time to get the track into shape. So therefore, race 4 at Finger Lakes will be canceled, but we are planning on running races 5 and onward. So the fourth race, cancel the double is one and all, $4.10. And the pick three, 3-1 all for 50 cents, $3.45. Ladies and gentlemen, the remaining part of the program here at Finger Lakes has been canceled. Once again, the rest of the card here at Finger Lakes has been canceled. Next live racing date here at Finger Lakes will be Monday, first posted 1 p.m. We apologize for the inconvenience, but due to the weather, the remaining part of the card here at Finger Lakes on this Wednesday has been canceled. Good night.